Hello and welcome to messages for the signs for the week of October 4th. I am Tammy Toshnik and this video is for Aries and Taurus. And we begin with Aries. What does Aries need to know if their best and highest good today? Okay, Aries, let me take a look at this before I show you these cards. You have Blessed, Unfinished Symphony, No Place Like Home, Education, Goblins, and Balancing Act. So what's sticking out for me here is Unfinished Symphony and Education. Unfinished Symphony is usually quite literal. It means that you've procrastinated or there's something on hold. Something you've left sort of or put to the side and said, I'll get to this later. It's getting in your way though, Aries. So you do need to finish that up. But when I want to look at it with education. My eyes they're pushing me to look at both Unfinished Symphony and Education. And that tells me that perhaps, well, for some of you, the literal piece is that you didn't finish school. So you're going back. And you're finishing school. Maybe you're taking a GED. Maybe you're finishing a college course. This could be a new class that you've been wanting to take. So very literal for some of you, Aries. And if we look at this symbology here, though, they keep drawing me back. And when I say they draw me back, they won't let me look at any other cards. I try to move my eyes and they still come back to Unfinished Symphony and Education. So if that isn't for you, if you aren't taking a class right now or finishing up something that you started previously, it's saying that you are struggling with finishing this task or this job because you don't know enough about it. And so you have to learn more in order for you to finish it. But there's definitely something here for you, Aries, that you do have to look at. And it's getting in your way. It's and so if it is literal for you and you have gone back to school to complete a course or a credit that you let go perhaps a few years ago, I don't want to say that's getting in your way. Now, it might be getting in your way for a job you want. Or it could just be more mental and emotional. It gets in your way because you beat yourself up about it. And for some of you, this feels like you are almost embarrassed to admit that you quit and that you didn't finish it. So that's getting in your way. All right, now they're letting me move away from that. Thank you. So Blessed is all about something unexpected. Of course, we're meant to count our blessings every day, but sometimes things just show up, don't they? And we go, oh my God, that was so cool. I didn't expect that. And that's what blessings always means to me, that something is on its way to you now. And then No Place Like Home tells me that you're leaning into your authenticity. Of course, the literal message here would be that for some of you, you've just moved or you're moving. And that might be the piece that you've had to finish, the Unfinished Symphony. So maybe your previous house wasn't selling. Now it finally sold. Now you can move into this new one. Perhaps you have a few things you have to do with the old place before you can fully embrace this new place. And then Goblin. So this brings me back to what I said earlier, excuse me, about this getting in your way mentally and emotionally. That's what goblins are. Sorry. Any of you having trouble with your throat right now or speaking up? Aries, oh my goodness, this isn't me. This is coming to me. So goblins is all about the things that we tell ourselves that typically aren't true. They're the negative talk, that negative chatter that we all have. So that's bringing me back to what I said earlier about it's getting in your way mentally and emotionally because you're beating yourself up about not finishing it. You know, you may be calling yourself names and you really like, for some of you, this just feels really heavy. And I'm here to tell you, don't beat yourself up about that. The fact that you've decided to finish or to start something new, this actually does feel like from the past though, so I shouldn't really say start something new. Don't beat yourself up about that, and watch your chatter, watch that mental chatter. Balancing act tells me that you are out of balance a little bit here, Aries, and that's again because the unfinished symphony is in your way, and the things that you're telling yourself, that's really what's causing the issue here. It's not so much the issue itself or the challenge itself, it's what you're telling yourself about the challenge. So clean that up, educate yourself, whether that's literal or just learn about your own boundaries and what you need to clean up here, and come back to that place of authenticity that you've been working on. I hope that helps you, Aries, and I hope to see you here next week. Moving on to Taurus. Oh, that was quite the throat issue. I hope you're feeling well, Aries. Oh, that came on very suddenly. All right, moving on to Taurus. What does Taurus need to know for their best and highest good today? Taurus. Oops. All right, Taurus. And you got round and round, tick-tock, why? Slow and steady, ride the wave and field of dreams. I just had this idea of TikTok, you know, that new app or platform that people use, TikTok. This was the original TikTok is what I'm hearing. That's funny. Maybe some of you Tauruses are learning to use TikTok. So round and round, TikTok, and why? Oh, Taurus. So this is from the past. It feels like usually when round and round shows up, feels like the past, bringing it into the present. And it feels very familiar to you. You're like, oh, this old thing again. Why? Why also asks you to go back to your original why. Why did you begin this endeavor in the first place? Why did you begin this relationship, this exercise program? It could be just about anything. Bring yourself back to the why. And usually we need to remind ourselves we're trying to be of service in some way. And that takes away a lot of the mental chatter when we do that. But something definitely has come back around, and it does have this sense of timing to it. It feels like, oh, how can I put this in words? Just a second, Taurus. Let me see if I can clear this up. It feels like it's like, why now? That's what I want to say to you. Why now? Why, when this was going well, I fixed this, I cleared this up, I learned about this, why now? Why this thing now? It feels very disappointing. It feels like it's discouraging you. And so we just have to remember what a cycle is. A cycle is never ending. So even though we feel like we've moved through something, we've healed it, we've learned from it, we've fixed it, we've let it go, all these things we tell ourselves, everything comes back around. Everything comes back around. Now, that's not to discourage you, Taurus. It doesn't mean that we never are free from anything. It's just simply that a cycle repeats itself so that we can take a good look at where we've come. And sometimes it's even just to give ourselves a pat on the back and say, wow, you know, you've come a long way because last time this happened, this is how you reacted, this is what you did, this is what you said, and this time you didn't do any of those things. So give yourself a pat on the back. It also can come back around because we maybe have been fooling ourselves and telling ourselves that we healed it, that we were okay with it, but really we might have just been spiritually bypassing because we just didn't want to feel the thing anymore, and we kind of just pushed our way through. So it'll come back around to say, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. I did the work on this. It's good. It's good to go. And it'll leave. It'll cycle back around. It'll leave your current awareness, and otherwise it'll stay because you do have work to do with it. And that's the other message I'm receiving here with the TikTok. There's a question of when will this end? When is this over? Now, of course, that could be for current circumstances, or it could be for something more personal for you, Taurus. And then we got slow and steady. So if I look at TikTok with that, this does feel like that you are thinking this is not happening fast enough, whatever this may be in your life. And Ride the Wave, though, does speak about being in the flow. So you are in the flow, Taurus. It's just not happening as quickly as you think. And then Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So you are creating. You are creating. It's the idea that when we plant a seed, we don't dig it up after a couple of weeks just to see how it's doing, right? We trust that something underneath the surface is happening. I feel like you've lost your trust here, Taurus. So get your trust back and just understand that progress, slow and steady progress is progress after all. Now I want you to take a look here. So you've got round and round this cycle. You've got the clock is round, the slow and steady, the snail here is round. You've got the egg. So this tells me definitely that you are in a cycle, a repeat cycle. But just as I talked about, that's how you move through it, to remind yourself that that's what it's all about. It's not going to last forever because nothing ever does. And you can move through it. And again, progress, slow progress is still progress. And you are in the flow. All right, I hope this helps you, Taurus, and I hope to see you here next week. Take care.